going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing. Where do you come from? Where are you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where are you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep them flowing.
Hello and good morning to everyone. How are you doing? And welcome to the show. This is Super PlayStation Bros. I am Rudigs, and here we have Doragon joining us on the right side of up. Good morning, good afternoon to you, sir.
I was going to need some
All right.
explaining for those guys who weren't backstage.
Yes, Doragon was coming in upside down this morning, but I was able to rotate the camera. Discord wanted to be difficult with us for some reason, but I'm sure everyone can relate to that. Good morning, Vet Cloud Gaming, Wilson, Simply Pwned Gaming, and Ray, and everyone else out there. Appreciate you coming on by, stopping into the show. We've got a week full of awesome PlayStation news to get through. We got 5 new games for PlayStation coming up. PC specs for everyone interested in a Forbidden West release, as well as tons of other news. So stay tuned because there's a lot to go through. But first, before we jump into it, Doragon, how have you been doing this week? What have you been up to?
Well, upside down, that's definitely one section. Yeah, my video for me is still upside down, so trying to frame for the show is a bit interesting. So if I'm not in the right place at any point, please let me know, chat, because I can't tell where I am. Other than being upside down in videos, I've been great. I've been playing quite a few games. I've been back in VR, been back in a lot of Crossfire Sierra Squad, really enjoying the frenetic sort of gameplay that you get over there when you're actually in the gunfight and feeling things hitting you through the headset and through the haptics in the Sense controllers. There's been a lot of Helldivers 2, and I have realized that through my Helldivers 2 gameplay, it doesn't matter whether it's with you, with Ray and Wilson in the chat, with anybody else, Jem, who might turn up later, Wibblesniff, Crash Echo. It really doesn't matter who I'm playing with. My own biggest enemy is neither the Terminids or the Automatons, it's my own team. I died 25 times in both of these game sessions. One of them was to the enemy. One. All the others were to my own team. I am cannon fodder for them, and they enjoy it far too much. Other than that, it's just been a bit more of the Tomb Raider Remastered trilogy, which is absolutely great fun revisiting those nostalgic memories. But what about yourself, man? I know something released last week that you have maybe sunk more than a little bit of your life into.
I mean, other than achieving the platinum in Helldivers 2 and jumping in with everyone and realizing that I have 157 friendly fire kills. Oops, sorry everyone I've played with. But that's been a lot of fun on the top, and we'll talk more about Helldivers 2 and its continued success even a year out. But other than that, yes, it's been Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and let me tell you right now, this is a Game of the Year nomination and a contender. This is an expansive world with everything under the sun to do with it. I'm playing mini card games, which are designed incredibly well. Reminds me of Marvel Snap, the way you're trying to beat on 3 different rows with high scores and your cards have different powers. I've some time just playing that one. It's so fun, relaxing just to sit down and play with. There's this type of board game, which is attack and defense tactics with this 3-tiered prong attack system. Another amazing mini game just put in there. Just so much fun. Open world, expansive, exploring, getting into fights, hitting up the objectives, hitting the towers, opening up more things to do. The stealth. The stealth is well done in this game, and let me talk about why. In most games, they just stick on stealth in the middle of the game, and they're like, okay, do it this way or that way, we don't really care. This game says you are going to do stealth if you want to do stealth, and you're going to do it right. And you have to be sneaky about it. You have to put distractions. You have to move with things. It brings back the essence of stealth that I like. Because in a lot of games, like I said, they just stick it on and it's like, oh, this game's not designed for stealth, but they're making me do it anyways. I really appreciate it. It feels like a lot of care has been done to it. I did this silly mini game where I was just pressing buttons, but they made it amazing. They made it the most amazing thing ever. It was like the light was going through here and there. Tap, 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 hold, hold, hold. We're doing this performance. We're getting scores and likes. Man, this is a well-designed, well-crafted game. So far, one of the best experiences I've had this year. And I gotta stop talking about it because I'm sure I've been going on a while. It's Chef's Kiss. Chef's Kiss.
Nice. That's what we like to hear. Good times gaming on PlayStation. That's what matters.
Yes, I will say we're waiting for the light update. I really want to see that be taken care of because it feels really overexposed. I will say there is that aspect, but other than that, it's just been amazing all throughout. We hear that there's going to be an update to the performance mode because the graphics take a serious hit. I myself have been playing in non-performance mode, fidelity mode. Just because the performance mode's just not there yet. So these are what happened with Final Fantasy, but still great game. I wish it took more advantage of haptics, to be honest. But like some games do, like freaking Horizon, you could feel the controller like come alive in your hands, but where Final Fantasy is just it's light haptics, you feel it, but I wish there was more of a presence there.
As a console exclusive, you sort of expect it as well, that this isn't on Xbox consoles, this isn't on Nintendo consoles, it's only on PlayStation consoles. It's not even on PC yet. It is a PlayStation 5 exclusive at the time that we're talking, and you would sort of expect it to take advantage of the hardware that it is exclusive to. And we had similar with 16 last year. I believe it was similar with the 7 remake update that they did for PS5. They left the haptics and the 3D audio out a little bit, which that's kind of like a big selling point of the console. It's a big part of what the PlayStation does beyond everything else, especially that DualSense controller. So yeah, to leave those out, very disappointing, but by the sounds of things, it really doesn't detract from the rest of the game.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm still enjoying it, still going in, enjoying the side quests, enjoying the missions, and the story. Every time you pull into one of those main quests, it's a fantastic tale of a fantasy adventure. The characters are so alive. They are so expressional. That's what I felt yesterday. Like their emotions are so present in everything they do. Each character feels like a real human with a soul. And I feel like they have a great job of conveying that in NPCs that I haven't seen in a long time. Like Starfield. When you go up to an NPC and you go and talk to them and they're a lifeless dead characters with dead eyes looking back to you, you can just feel the difference. You feel the difference of like, wow, guys, we're going to get this together and do it amazing. I'm just blown away by each of the experiences in the game.
No console bias or anything there at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. Starfield's a PC game, right?
You raise a valid point. Anyhow, should we get into the news of the week?
The news of the week. Yes, yes, yes. I didn't close that. No, here's my show notes. Yes, first of all, I want to say, where is Baby Steps? That's my first news question of the week as I have this playing in the background. We saw this freaking a year or more ago. I still want my Baby Steps, but let's jump into the news.
They announced Ghost of Tsushima in 2017. It launched in 2020. They showed it off at every showcase, every state of play, everything between its announcement and its release. And that was an amazing game. It was one of the best we've had in the past decade, I would say, personally. So just because it's been 9 months since we saw Baby Steps, and a baby normally takes 9 months from, you know, conception to arrival, it doesn't mean that a game is the same. I still think, because this is an indie studio pickup, it's probably going to be 2 or 3 more years out yet. Don't get too bummed about it. And also, I don't know if it's going to be enough for me. I hope there's more to it than just trying to walk.
It could be fun, though. You never know. But let's jump into it. All of the PC gamers out there, as you know, PlayStation is making a shift into the PC world, and what better game to do that with than Horizon Forbidden West? This game is graphically stunning. It is amazing in gameplay aspects. Open world done amazingly well. Every combat with a different machine is a different experience, and that's how I feel like they nailed great gameplay. Is going and harvesting materials is not a chore. It's exciting when you have to create loadouts to take down creatures in different ways. So great variety in this, much more than 8 different ad types. Shout out to Suicide Squad. But let's take a look at what the PC requirements are.
They're interesting, these PC requirements.
They are.
PC can push a bit further than PlayStation, because PlayStation is a single set of hardware. PC's got all of these different variations. The one that gets me is what you need for the 4K 60 frames per second. So what we would love to achieve on PlayStation, and has been achieved in some games, not in others, but like for Horizon Forbidden West. I keep forgetting which way around they go. So for Horizon Forbidden West, correct me if I'm wrong, because you've got the thing up in front of you there. I believe that the PC specs for the 4K 60, which is the dream for PlayStation players, is a 4080. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Not even a 4090, a 4080, which there's so many of them on the market because they were so badly reviewed and underperforming at launch. That's a fairly cost-effective, for a PC player, way of getting this game in its best possible version at 4K 60 frames per second, because goddamn is this thing beautiful. And those locked 60 frames, they don't dip through the whole game on performance mode on the PlayStation, so I imagine it's going to be a similar thing that Nixes have done to achieve that on PC. I'm looking forward to PC players really pushing this, and guys with 4090s, I'm ready to see what you've got for us. I really am. Like, this game deserves all of the power that it can get and all of the beauty that it can push.
Absolutely, but the requirements, again, we see. So what we're getting on a PlayStation 5 would be more around the high performance. Am I correct in saying that? Which is about a 2K 60 FPS performance?
Yeah, so high performance, that tends to be where many of, especially the PlayStation-owned studios, try to aim with their performance mode levels.
Right.
So they'll give you like 1440p or maybe even 1800p. And they'll try and give you 60 frames per second. Some of them will do things a little differently. They'll offer you a little bit of ray tracing for a few hits on a few frames, and maybe you drop into the 1440 2K level. But that's around the area that generally the performance mode on the PlayStation 5 is aiming for, that 2-ish K, 60-ish frames per second. And like we say, every developer will try and do it slightly differently.
Yeah. It just boggles my mind because it sort of shows what PlayStation is equivalent to a 3070, I guess. Maybe that's the way they're marketing it. That's the way they're trying to show off. I feel like this is a great marketing tool. I mean, even the recommended specs, it's still saying you need a 3060. Uh, it's it's great to see the expansion, and I hope players get onto the Forbidden West because I thoroughly enjoyed it. The voice acting was Hollywood-esque, and the story really draws you in. Great actors, great performances, and great writing.
I think the fact that you get the Burning Shores DLC as standard with the PC version, because you can only get the complete version on
Oh,
PC. So the fact that you
wow.
get that Burning Shores DLC, which is such a quality honed experience, I personally feel it's better than the base game, but when it's added to the base game, elevates what's a good story into a great story for me. So yeah, I really hope people pull this up. I really hope people jump on it and it isn't overshadowed by yet another bigger release at the same time as it, because the first one came out the same week as Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Second one came out the same week as Elden Ring. Then they released their DLC at the same time as something else that was massive. Like,
Damn.
Horizon deserves its time in the sun. It truly does.
It's a great one. It's a great one. I will say that. But definitely check it out. And if you can, I'm not sure how Burning Shores works, but if you load it up on the PC, go straight to Burning Shores, man. It is so worth it. And then go to the main story. But
you do have to finish the main story to access Burning Shores.
You do, yeah, don't you? I was just thinking because there's certain keys, I'll say keys as in an ambiguous word to get. I get it. All right. Let's move on. Okay. Is there a reason to get back into Destiny before the final shape drops? Nah, no, not at all. I would have said last week.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is. You can get a freaking flying Silver Surfer board as a Sparrow, okay?
You could go full Tony Hawk in-game. I've seen people grinding across the air. It's awesome. Like, nothing else matters. Just go into the game. It's free to play. This event is free to play. The vehicle is free to obtain. So you could get all of this for free, and it is just a fun space Tony Hawk simulator. Do it. It's great.
This is awesome to see. This is something innovative for the community. I can't wait to jump in this and have some fun messing around. When I saw this, I was 100% sold. There was nothing else I wanted to do at that time. So check it out. I'll be reporting back on this. Have you gotten the surfboard yet yourself, or are you still waiting to jump in?
I'm still waiting to jump in. I kind of want to do a video on it because I'm very much, at this point in time, a bit of a lapsed Destiny player. It's 6 months since I played any of it, and considering I played everything prior to that over the course of 9 years, that's a big break to take from the game. So I'm kind of looking forward to jumping back in and chronicling my experience. But it will be sometime soon because I do want to go and get this Sparrow and have a good time with being Space Tony Hawk, which I suppose is the Silver Surfer, isn't it? Or Space Kelly Slater. Yeah.
And just to let everybody know, all you have to do, it's no additional cost. Simply pick it up at Eva Levante in the tower, and she's just sitting there right in the tower, Community Hub spot, after completing the first Guardian Games All-Star request and banking your first medallion. So this is the way that you want to be able to access this awesome, cool, wicked Silver Surfer Sparrow.
Do it, guys. Then we could all go around and make cool videos of just like skating through space, like hang 10, dude. I have literally never said or done that in my life.
The last time I surfed, I permanently injured my back. So don't mess with the waves. They are serious out there.
Back of my head, I came off and the fin came into the back of my head. Put a sail on that board and send me windsurfing. That I've got no issue with whatsoever. I used to teach windsurfing, but take that sail off, I am all limbs and no coordination. It's terrible.
Yeah, man. It's tough. The ocean is no joke. No, treat it with respect. But here we have revealing. This is crazy, guys. Okay, guys, you are hearing right now that there are 5 games coming to PlayStation from a India Hero project. This is cool news to hear. This is again similar to the China Hero project. It seems like they're making investments in other countries, much like Ubisoft with Skull and Bones, except this time they're doing it correctly and they're doing it and getting 5 awesome games for the console.
You are being savage today. Like, what did all these developers do to earn your wrath?
Listen, there's some fires that need to be placed today, all right? I've had enough of some things, all right?
Touche, touche.
We
Not
got a Metrovania, right? You were telling me about these games earlier today. A combat arcade racer.
Yep.
A sort of sim-like slice of life story, which gives me, I don't know why, but it gives me like Celeste vibes. I know it probably won't be like that kind of navigation as we see from the clip below. It's more of like that top-down inventory management, little mini games with socially positive messaging. But to me, it just feels like Celeste. I don't know why.
I think it's the art style giving you that feeling. I can understand
Yeah.
it from an art perspective. Like you say, nothing else about it screams Celeste, but yeah, art style, I can see the similarities.
We have Mukati. I'm probably saying that horribly wrong, but this seems to be the biggest and most ambitious title that they're coming out with. It's a first-person story exploration game set in a immersive environment of an Indian museum. So we'll see what kind of trailers. Hopefully these games will be rolling out over the PlayStation 5's remaining console life. But yeah.
Yeah,
We
they
have
all look great.
Yeah. It was the one that stood out to you, maybe this I'm not saying this right. Requital. Requital?
Requital.
Gates of Blood?
Requital.
Requital. Wow, you just let me do that. Okay.
Yeah, I had to see it first, and I've got a teeny tiny version of it in front of me. I had to squint. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So this
there's a few
reminds
on
me
there
of
that
Prince of Persia.
yeah. So there's 2 in that vein, isn't there? In the Metroidvania vein. So there's this Requital and what was the first one you mentioned, the Meteor one. That one really sort of appeals to me because it's coming to PSVR 2 as well. So these are teeny tiny studios from India that PlayStation have come along to and said, "Hey, do you want some funding to bring your games to PlayStation?" "Yes, please, sir." So they're all bringing what look like incredibly impressive titles. That Meteor Racing thing, like Combat Racer, but you're a meteor. That sounds awesome to me. Like, very interested to hear more of that. The Fishbowl one, that Slice of Life one, it's hitting some huge social issues, situations, things. Again, really important to get that message out there. And when it's in an interactive manner, it helps people to sort of emote with it a little bit more and empathize with it a little bit more. I can't remember how you say it, Curti or something. The one where you're a first person in a museum, that one is going to have some really heavy subject matter. It's based around the history of human trafficking from India. So when we went over and colonized and stole people away and sent them elsewhere in the world, that one's going to have...
He did. Not me.
Yeah. Well, we made you guys as well, so same issue that Britain sort of invaded everywhere. But it's looking into that sort of history and what it's meant for India since now, back then, all of that. It's very heavy subject matter, but very interesting. I think they've all got a huge amount of promise. All of them have got something to them which appeals to me in some way, shape, or form. I just need to see more of them, when they're coming out, how much they're going to cost, that sort of thing, and whether they're clashing with something else that would maybe take my want and money a little bit more. But yeah, they're all is. I'm really happy to see this. I hope they spread this sort of project, this hero project, to other countries as well, because we've had absolute bangers out of the China one. Looks like we're getting absolute bangers out of the India one. I think it's a successful project. Let's do it in as many places as possible and spread some cultural diversity.
Awesome. Awesome. We also have Surrey coming in. This looks to be more of a rhythm-based game. So that will be cool, probably dynamics to see. These games often bring out creativity and novelism into the gameplay. You can see everyone has an instrument here. And the tunes, I'm sure, from this culture will be, as they say, ignatic beats. So I look forward to it. Let's bring them all out, and I like to see these investments and see these different cultures sort of come up in gaming. I think it's cool. Like,
Yeah.
often when I play Final Fantasy VII, and I know this is gonna sound terrible, I feel like I get a window into Japanese culture. Like I get to see, you know, how they sort of think and just in certain subsections, but it like gives me a window into the culture that I wouldn't often, you know, get to experience.
Yeah, 100%. Totally get that. You get it with any game that sort of is made in a country and is based in that same country. You get that feeling, that flavor for those people. That there's a lot of American-based games that I don't understand. I'm British. I've never been to America. I don't know what it's like to walk those streets, to talk to these people, and yet these games give me that sort of taste. It's the same with the Canadian ones, the French ones, like the Guerrilla ones. Although they're based in America, they've got a lot of their sort of Danish heritage and origins in there. There's a lot of really cool cultural things that come to people through gaming, and if that sparks or ignites some form of interest or passion in these other cultures, that's a positive thing. It's breaking down walls between two different types of people. It's great. And if Final Fantasy is doing that for you with Japanese culture, I think it's fantastic. I love Japanese culture. Really immersed myself in it whilst I was over there in 2019. Thoroughly enjoyed all of it. So, yeah, break down these walls. Bring us more of these options of different cultures in games.
100%. I will note that my wife just ripped on me for saying
Ah,
that because we were watching this show and this girl just said, I really like Japanese culture because I watched Naruto. And I'm like, oh, damn, I do sound exactly like that girl. So that was a
you
plus for
do
me.
have a bit of the weeb going on there. Yeah, yeah.
But let's get excited for some. Oh, what up, Maker of Chaos? Hopefully you're doing well. Thanks for joining this morning. Don't work too hard. We have some awesome game, a free demo dropping March 15th of a game that I was absolutely drawn into while watching the gameplay deep dive. This looks to be a open world exploration. um it feels like Ark, but you're third person. It feels like Breath of the Wild because it's an open world to discover and you're gliding around, but it feels like the future because you have a jetpack. These are the types of games that I really like and thrive on. There's no linear progression. It's just go to these civilizations, meet these civilizations, and progress in their relationships. You have alien invaders with weapons and combat. And a free demo on March 15th is really getting me excited to be able to dip my feet into the game with no cost to me and just enjoy.
Yeah,
Any
this
thoughts on this one?
Outcast: A New Beginning. I hadn't heard of it until just before the show when you showed me this trailer that is playing now, and it has sold me. The fact that there's a demo coming is great. Like, more companies. I said it last year when we got the Final Fantasy 16 demo that more companies should put out gameplay demos. Gameplay demos matter. They sell games, and we are seeing it. There was obviously such a huge amount of success from that particular demo for other companies to realize we should be doing this more. So it's lovely to see. This is a really new concept, and the movement in this game, it's the traversal. It feels like the best parts of Anthem put into a new open world, actually story-driven, gameplay-driven game. It looks fantastic. Like, I am really interested about the gameplay. I'm interested about how the story works in a non-linear progression manner. And the fact that there is a demo coming, the fact that on the 15th of this month, which is what, 9 days away as we're talking, I can play this and see for myself if it's going to be of worth to me is great. I'm really excited to play the demo because it's just this gorgeous looking world with amazing traversal, or what looks like amazing traversal. And if it works as well as Anthem did, and hopefully better in terms of your gliding, your flying, and all that sort of stuff, I think it'll be an excellent experience just moving around the open world, similar to what we had with Spider-Man.
I 100% agree. And Outcast, I do not believe it is a remake. I believe it is a continuation in the story. The game came out as just Outcast. It didn't have a New Beginning title attached to it, and that was back in 1999. So this game is actually looks to be a sequel picking up 20 plus years later. And so the technology leap is just going to be massive.
Yeah, it's
And the original team behind the first Outcast is reunited to create this world. So it's really cool to see that you know, there's a lot of passion behind this game. So that is what sort of drives gaming to that next level, when people really care about the project. And I think that's what came together behind this, and that's why it's got me so excited behind it. And especially with a free demo, I mean, it's just a no-brainer. Go check it out.
100%. Yeah, like you say, free demo. Try it out. Try before you buy. It's one of the best marketing tools available to folks. Give us a vertical slice of your finished product, and if we like it, we'll go buy it and continue playing. That's how many gamers' brains work. It's like, monkey see, monkey do.
Yes, and cool. So, speaking of monkey see, monkey do, I have a prediction, and you can let me know what you think about this.
Okay.
And I may be wrong. I may be wrong in this. MLB The Show 24 unveils Road to the Show. This is an article. It talks about how they're letting women into baseball. That's not the reason why I'm bringing this up, though. Although that's fantastic. Cool to see. More of it. Let's go. But on top of this, we see the game is releasing late in, what is it, March or May? Now I'm getting confused.
March is the current month. May is 2 months away. March
Yeah,
is the
so
third
it's
month. May is the 5th.
it's releasing March 19th.
Okay.
Here's my theory.
So,
because it's coming on to Xbox Cloud services, I think it's going to be coming to... Oh, did we lose you? I think it's going to be coming to PS Plus Premium. That's my theory. And we're going to find out midway through the month.
Yeah, can you still hear me at least?
I can hear you, but you've become this amalgamation of colors.
I can see I'm just pixels at the moment, so you're just going to have to put up with my dulcet tones. I'm sorry, folks.
Oh, there we go. You're back. You're back.
Hey! I can see MLB The Show being on PlayStation Cloud day one as well. Similar to what Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is, similar to what God of War Ragnarok was, Spider-Man 2 was. I think it's going to be on the cloud, but you have to purchase it. So same as all of these other games that I've just mentioned, if they are in your digital game library and you are a PS Plus Premium subscriber, you can play these games in their native quality via the cloud. I think MLB The Show will be exactly the same. What I don't think we are going to get is MLB The Show being day one on PlayStation Plus. For the simple reason that PlayStation have told us time and time again, it makes no financial sense for them to do that, and they would cease trading in short time if they put all of the games on there day and date. They've told us as much, so I think that's what we're going to get, but I do think it will be part of the cloud streaming as well, day one, as we've seen with Rebirth, as we've seen with Spider-Man 2, as we've seen with many other PS5 release games in recent time. If you own the digital version, you can play that via the cloud rather than downloading it onto your SSD and taking up space.
there you go. Two competing theories. We'll see what happens. Well, I think I'm right, but we'll see. Um,
I mean, you're not going to back me after you've just made a prediction, are you?
I mean, you make some valid points. They obviously said they don't want to put stuff on subscriptions. I feel like, damn, if you're gonna play MLB the show somewhere, and one came out for Game Pass and one is like not free, it's a tough call to make.
Well, the Game Pass one isn't free either. It's £14 per month.
No, not yet.
And
Yeah,
if
you're
people are
right.
playing this
You're
for
right.
a year, you end up spending more money. So it's like six of one, half a dozen of the other. One of them's a better choice for someone.
And no haptics.
No haptics over the Xbox side. True.
So there's no rest for the wicked and revealing new details on combat, crafting, and town building. So this game sparked my attention because it's that Diablo-esque view, but it's got this Souls-esque combat. I'm not sure if you've seen No Rest for the Wicked yet, but it's got this great 3D art style to it. It's set in a very cool era with a lot of lore and magic, with that sort of medieval Elden Ring type of vibe I get from it. Yeah, I think it's one on my radar to definitely check out. Cool big bosses, which I like to fight, and a different angle of gameplay, which I haven't yet seen in a lot of titles.
Yeah, it's one that's not really been on my radar previously, but today there seems to have been a load of previews of it go up on YouTube. There's been a load of YouTubers just posting No Rest for the Wicked, and with titles like "I've played No Rest for the Wicked and I can't wait to play the full thing" and all this sort of stuff. So it's definitely hitting some form of great note for those who've gone hands-on with it. The gameplay angle, as you say, that sort of top-down ARPG sort of angle on things. Sometimes I gel with that, sometimes I don't. I gelled with it in the original Helldivers, for example, but don't gel with it in Diablo, personally. It's one of those, I want to see more. Like, it's so often the case, I want to see more. And if they could put out a gameplay demo, similar to what we were saying with Outcast a little bit earlier, they could put out a gameplay demo and let us have a vertical slice of this game, I do feel it might end up selling me. The gameplay looks great from what I've seen. It seems to have a huge amount of lore behind it, which I love to get my teeth into. And even if these streamers who are saying these good things were sponsored to say it, or they were taken out to an event and played it and recorded it and whatever the case may be, like, there's still a lot of them coming out with quite good vibes and they don't feel false, if that makes sense. So it wasn't on my radar. It's now on my radar. I want to keep an eye on it. It's not a dead cert or anything yet. It is a piqued my interest.
Well, let's definitely keep an eye on this one. It was developed by Moon Studios, the same creators of Ori and the Will of Wisps. So if you're familiar with their type of gameplay, their type of development, and you thoroughly enjoyed it, this may be also right up your alley as well. So be sure to check out this one. I will keep my eyes on for it. Now, this next one, the note on it says push to Dorgon. So, Dorgon,
you
be
told me
ready.
about this one beforehand, and I have no idea what you're on about. So we're going to find out as we go through it. This could be the most scuffed section of the Super PlayStation Brothers you've ever seen, guys. I don't know what's coming.
Well, we have, hey, Wibble, thanks for stopping on by. And yes, Maker, No Rest for the Wicked was from the same team that made Ori, the Moon Studios. Wibble says there was a sponsored demo last weekend. Sponsored streamers had access. Oh, that's why we probably saw so much footage. Unfortunately, I am not a sponsored streamer. Hashtag PlayStation, reach out to me. I will become a sponsored streamer. But we have Gran Turismo 7's 1.5 1.43 update features 3 new events, new cars, and a cafe menu in case you're down on caffeine. I will say, like, I debate this game so much just for the photo mode. I mean, it
The
looks
photo mode.
so good. Looks so
Oh,
good.
it's it's probably one of the best photo modes out there because it is the closest to reality that you can possibly get. Like, I don't play around with photo mode, but Gran Turismo 7's is incredible, and I will spend so long. It's got a whole. It's not even like you're in a race and you press photo mode. It's you go to a specific point on the menu and you create scenes from scratch. It's so in depth. It's amazing. You can adjust the angle of the car, the angle of the sun or the moon to get the right reflections running up the bodywork. You can add your driver in, whether in the car, standing by it. You can change their outfit. There's so much that you can do with Gran Turismo 7 photo mode. I think you need to buy this game just for that, knowing how much you love digital photography. Downside for you is you do need to play it in order to get to that point. Which is no
No!
bad thing because Gran Turismo 7 is an amazing game. It's absolutely stupendous, absolutely adore it, and these updates are always welcome. This is just a new title update. These title updates always bring something new with them, whether it's a case of they bring new cars, new tracks, whether they bring new events like this one has. I haven't seen what those events are, but last time we had one of these title updates that brought new events, we got snow races, which we hadn't had before, which changed the whole dynamic of how you drive, needed snow tires, needed different suspensions, all this sort of thing. They're really good. They're little updates that keep the semi-live service of Gran Turismo 7 going. They keep it updating, keep it relevant, keep it growing and like, enticing to people to draw them in. One of those title updates added PSVR2 support, for example. So when I'm playing in Gran Turismo, I've got the VR2 headset on and I'm in the cockpit of the car, looking around me, checking my mirrors to be able to drive and race properly. It sounds like a really solid update. I'm interested at what they've done with the cafe menu because the cafe is where you get your in-game quests from. So what races do you do next? What prize cars can you get and all this sort of stuff. So I'm interested to see what that update has done. But yeah, it just sounds like a standard Gran Turismo title update, and you need to go and buy it just for photo mode, and then you can play with me online as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna mark it, see if it comes on sale one of these days. The 3 new world events are Sunday Cup Classic, the Japanese Clubman Cup 550, as well as the European Clubman Cup 600, as well as a Lamborghini collector level 43 and above, in case you're into collecting Lamborghinis. So cool stuff. I mean, I would start becoming a collector of Lamborghinis if I had this game.
Yeah, if I had a few million quid on me, yeah, I'd probably collect a few in real life. As it is, I just have to look across the road at the very expensive car garage over there that work on things like the McLarens and the Lamborghinis and such.
I'm shocked you don't already have it. I know I don't have it. I've wanted to hold out for a wheel, but I live in a house that is too small to accommodate a wheel. And I feel like racing on a controller is just letting me down after watching Gran Turismo 7. Like, I want that full experience. Oh my gosh, like Giannis.
Wait. I sent you a link to an accessory
It's
throughout the course of the last week.
It's the thumb thing.
It might not be a full wheel, but it does improve your driving experience on PlayStation. It goes over your analog sticks, and you're still doing accelerate and brake on the triggers, but you've then got an actual steering wheel on your analog sticks to turn corners with. Like, if you don't have space to just sit one on your desk, because you can get them where they sort of clamp onto the desk that's in front of you, but if you don't have space for that, I've given you the solution. You can attach it to your DualSense.
I'll be waiting to get a chair. We'll see. I can't strap it onto my desk too. I've heard people with the wheels on the desk and it just like rumbles everything. I'm like, oh, I don't want that.
If you get the incredible ones with like the Thrustmaster feedback, so the ones that really do feel like you're in a car, yeah, they will shake your entire desk. But if you're just getting like the Logitech G250, they do have feedback, but it's not enough to shake your desk any, unless you've got like a really cheapo, lightweight one, like I do here.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe I shouldn't buy one.
Well, I wanted to bring up this next story, Rise of the Ronin, having another PS5 exclusive with a huge download size. And here's why I wanted to bring it up, because as a PS Premium member, you were able to negate the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth download size, 145 gigabytes. Yes, it was huge. By just playing it in the cloud that same day. With the same fidelity. I mean, that to me is an impressive feature. So with the game coming out like Rise of the Ronin, I'm hoping they're able to accomplish the same thing. And if you're not able to accommodate 100 gigs on your PlayStation 5, you'll be able to just simply play it in the cloud. And so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that that solution is what starts to happen with these oversized games.
I kind of want to see two responses to this. One is, as you say, like the option to cloud stream them is a great thing, especially when like the base PlayStation 5 that many of the people in chat here who have a PlayStation have got came with 800 gigs and another 100 of that's taken up with the operating system. So you've got 700 gigs to work with. That's less than 7 games when they're all pushing 140, 150 gigabytes. Like, that's not many games on your SSD at all. I would like to see them compress these games. I would like to see them find a way to get the amount of information that they're putting into these titles smaller, so that when it goes onto an SSD, it doesn't take up the 140 gig. It takes up 40 or 60. And it is possible. There's compression technology out there that they can use that would still work at the speeds that PS5 requires and such. I just feel that it shouldn't be on a consumer to sort out the problems of storage. I shouldn't be having 2 terabytes in my PlayStation 5 and running out of space. I'm looking at buying another M.2 drive to stick in that slot that's bigger because I'm running out of space. I shouldn't be having to do that on a £500 console. That's your problem. Like, make the game smaller with the same content. It is possible. And as you say, if that's not possible, cloud streaming in those countries that do have it, but when there's only 28 countries out of 195, you still need to find a way to make the game installs much, much smaller.
Yeah, minimization, compression, optimization. These are all things that are needed. But yeah, thanks for giving the other perspective on it. Sometimes I feel like I'm just here with my Canadian internet, all happy. I forget about the others.
I had an argument with my internet service provider this morning, actually. Full on, like, almost shouting at one another argument. And we got somewhere. We eventually got somebody else on the phone who actually, understood what their job was, and we got it sorted. But they were trying to offer me slower speeds for double the amount of money. I was like, how's that work? So yeah, your Canadian internet sounds like a blissful dream compared to what we have over here in the UK.
Because Canada has internet as a utility, I believe. So, people are sort of, expected to have it to run functional life as is today's society demands it. So why not do that? But yeah, let's continue on down the Rudig spiciness. Significant discounts suggest Ubisoft's PS5 pirate game Skull and Bones is already struggling. So it is already down to $44 from its full price of $70. It's apparently a quadruple A title based on the amount of money that's been poured into it. And let's just say they're having trouble keeping it afloat.
Oh my days, that was terrible.
Yes, so pause for laughter.
You're not getting it.
I wanted to point this out because here's why I feel like this is two different mentalities. You have Ubisoft creating this monstrosity of a pirate game with ambitions that are changing left, right, and center, going to different studios, and then you have, on the other hand, a game that released at the exact same time with half the amount of A's. a AA game, Helldivers 2, which is again, after a month, still peaking in sales. Has another peak in sales. Unexplainable to the people at Arrowhead Studios. They are shocked at what is happening. So, telling you, good design is hard to beat. Magic, timing, fun experiences in games do matter.
I
Don't
think
just
you
try
hit
to
the nail on the head.
monetize. Yeah.
That fun factor that matters more than anything. If you look at the two breakout games from this year, you've got Palworld and you've got Helldivers 2, both of which fall in that AA category, both of which have had support from a platform holder to get across the line, both of which have come from little studios just wanting to make a fun game. We've spoken about it many times on this podcast, and Larian Studios, in every single Game of the Year acceptance speech that they've been allowed to make, looking at you Game Awards, have said if you just make a fantastically fun game, people will come. And that's all you need to make. That's what Helldivers 2 has done. That's what Palworld did. That's what Skull and Bones did not do. They made a tick box exercise, focus group oriented, money making scam. They did not make a game. They took what was an amazing experience from Black Flag from 10 years ago and stripped everything that made that fun and interesting and tried to sell it on to you for $70 more. And they've obviously failed because people have seen through their BS, they have seen through their lies and this whole quadruple A claim, and they've seen that what they're getting is a hollow shell of nothingness and corporate greed, and they're not willing to part money to buy that. So they're going to let it come down to the $4 that every Ubisoft game always comes down to within its first 12 months on the market and buy it at that price.
Within the first month, Doragon, within the first month.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Mirage dropped $20
Boom.
in the first month, as did Valhalla, as did Odyssey, Origins, Brotherhood. Like most Ubisoft games go on sale really, really quickly. Unless you are completely invested in those Ubisoft worlds, there is no point buying it at launch. Wait 2 months and you're getting it a lot cheaper.
Damn. Well, I mean, in comparison, I don't think Prince of Persia has gone down in price. I mean, I would expect it held its price. Uh-oh.
It was 40% off yesterday.
Damn it. That's a good game. Keep
It's
it at the high price.
It's in my Game of the Year category at the moment, Prince of Persia, not Forgotten Sands. That's one of the old games. What's this one called?
Lost Crown. Lost Crown.
That's in contention at the moment for Game of the Year. Bear in mind, we're like 2 and a bit months in. Like, it's very early to be saying what will be Game of the Year, but it's in contention as things stand right now. It's a fantastic game, but they're obviously not shifting enough of that because it's so different to the Prince of Persias that came before. So again, they're just, let's cut some money, let's get more out there. And it might work for them, and I hope it works for that particular game because it is incredibly good quality, incredibly good fun. Unlike Skull and Bones, it's mad that within 2 months, they have proven that they both know how to help gamers and give gamers and what have you. And then they also know how to screw gamers and don't care about gamers, and all from the same company.
Wibble's calling you out. All right, let's get into Capcom.
Oh, good, he forgot its name. Yeah. There's too many names. And 3 of them are just called Prince of Persia.
Sands of Time. They should just be all called Sands of Time. Capcom.
No, that would get very, very confusing.
Capcom is having a showcase coming out on March 7th. So if you're with a second show that kicks off on March 11th, the 2 programs will each last 15 to 20 minutes each. And it looks like they'll be going over games like Monster Hunter Wilds, Dragon's Dogma 2, as well as Path of the Goddess, and perhaps some updates to Street Fighter 6, Exoprimal, and Monster Hunter games. So if you're excited for those titles, keep your eyes out on this Capcom showcase, and it's just around the corner. So check it out or watch it back. Capcom's got some exciting stuff around the corner that you don't want to miss, especially with Dragon's Dogma. It's shaping out to be an epic adventure.
Dragon's Dogma for me, it's all about Monster Hunter Wilds. I cannot wait to get back into a big console Monster Hunter game and just join up with everybody, go hunting, give all of the monsters stupid nicknames, because that's what Wibble and I did for the entirety of Monster Hunter World. We just gave them all silly nicknames. So there's one called Kevin, one called Basil, one called what was he, Barry? Yeah, we've got all sorts of cool nicknames for them. So that is what I am looking forward to, just the silliness of Monster Hunter, because it is brilliantly silly and just great fun. But yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 does look kind of awesome. It's not Monster Hunter for me.
Oh, it's close. It's close. But yeah, I look forward to it. It's like a mix of Shadow of the Colossus, but you have this group that you cultivate and these pawns that you train to become your allies and teach them how to fight. So it's a different experience.
I'm glad you went with pawns and not like cannon fodder or something.
That's how I heard it described to me. Hey, if you are a fan of Armored Core like I am, you will be excited for this announcement. Everybody, there is a closed beta test you need to sign up for. It's called Synduality, Echoes of Ada. First of all, can I give you a little... Wait, I want to hear the rock music for like 2 seconds. This game is Armored Core Genshin Impact. That's what it gives me that vibe of. They're taking these mechs, they're allowing customization. I like how you see your body kind of floating outside the mech. I signed up right away for the open beta or the closed beta, so I'm hoping to get in. If you're at all interested in this, check out Synduality, Echoes of Ada. You can easily sign up with your platform of choice, coming out on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. This game, again, on my radar, looks like a lot of fun. And being a huge fan of Armored Core, I will be checking this one out. Hopefully they let me in. Now, I'm going to try to see if I can get the rock music.
We like a bit of rock music, if I don't talk over it.
It's like that jungle EDM.
Fair play. Right.
Anyways, I don't want to copyright.
DMCA's, yes.
It's, it was 5 seconds. I think we're good.
I think we're good. We should be all right with 5 seconds and a bit of talking around it, yeah.
Oh, cool to see. Definitely check out Synduality, Echoes of Ada. The closed beta test is going to be running from the end of the month till April 1st. So it's just a weekend. I've already applied on the website. Very easy. You guys do it as well if you're interested.
Not just any weekend. Here in the UK, that falls on the Easter weekend, which is a long 4-day weekend.
Oh, really?
There you go, folks. 4 days off work to go and play Synduality.
And if you liked Armored Core, I feel like it's going to be very much down that same vein.
Yeah,
upcoming games.
Any big next things.
Upcoming games to keep an eye out. We have Outcast: A New Beginning, March 15th. Oh, so that is coming out at the same time of a demo. So that's cool to hear. Rise of the Ronin, which is on the radar for a lot of people. Dragon's Dogma, as well as Stellar Blade. And Resident Evil 4 Remake is getting a gold edition. Ooh. I guess if you want that gold edition, go for that one.
I'm assuming that's the version with everything in it, all post-launch content, all content, all that sort of stuff, and of course the VR mode for PSVR 2. That because I don't know what else goes into the gold edition.
Actual gold, hopefully.
Actual gold, right? So you're just getting a lump of gold. That's all it is. Fair enough.
Well, those are fair enough. Moving on, because we are reaching the top of the hour, I want to get through a couple more news stories before we say goodbye. This one is one that I wanted to talk about for a certain aspect. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth falls short of Remake's launch sales in the UK. And I have a theory on this that goes along with what I've been saying all along. is that when Final Fantasy Remake launched, everyone was locked inside with COVID spending money on games. Now that Rebirth has launched, it's a different era of society. People aren't buying the games up in droves like they did before. This is why we're seeing people let go. This is the fluctuation we have in game spending due to a spike in COVID and the circumstances that people were locked into. So I definitely think this was something they should have predicted. They should have known this was going to happen. And I feel like it says nothing bad about the game. I think it's a fantastic game, and it shouldn't be compared to a game sold at that time. But what are your thoughts on it?
I think you raise a very valid point. It was launched on the 4th of April 2020. Again, it was only launched on PlayStation 5. 4 at that point, we hadn't got the 5 yet. It was launched on PlayStation 4. Loads of people were locked inside. The PlayStation 4 was the most prolific big home console. Obviously, the Switch was far surpassing it, especially with Animal Crossing New Horizons at that time. But it couldn't run this game. So in terms of hardware that could run it, it was the most prolific, pushing 100 million units out there and what have you. So it's not surprising that when everybody's locked inside, when most of the console players that played these sort of big JRPGs had a PlayStation, they sold more of it. It was at a time where you could also plan out when you were buying through the course of the year, because you knew you were getting a big game at that point, big game at that point, big game at that point. So people had prepped for Final Fantasy VII Remake, whereas Rebirth, we've just had Helldivers, we've just had Prince of Persia, we've just had Skull and Bones, we've got Dragon's Dogma, we've got Rise of the Ronin, we've got a couple of others coming up, and that's all in the space of January, February, and March 2024. We are also talking about just UK sales here, and we have just had a budget which has screwed us even further. We've got no money here in the UK spare to buy more than one game at a time. So people are picking and choosing what they're going to get the most joy out of and the most fun out of. And for a lot of folks right now, that's Helldivers. They've saved up since Helldivers launched to buy that now, which is why you're seeing further spikes in it and why it's only like a few 100,000 sales behind Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in its launch window. So you're right, it's not really surprising. It shouldn't be taken as a failure like we've been talking about with a bunch of other of these earnings calls, sales figures, and what have you. And it could be that some people really didn't like the new twist on what Final Fantasy VII Remake did at the end, and they don't want to continue with it because they feel it has besmirched the original. So there's a multitude of reasons. The fact that it is still topped the sales charts, that it has beaten out something that is a cultural phenomenon like Helldivers 2, should still be celebrated. Just because it hasn't sold as much in the UK as the last one did, in vastly different circumstances, as you rightly say, doesn't mean you should look at this as any less than a huge win.
For sure. Yep. We're aligned on this thinking for this point. Now, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is getting another patch to improve its performance mode. So if you were worried about that, know that the people at Square Enix recognize the issue and they are working towards fixing it. So look out
We've got
for
one
this.
in chat, yeah.
Yeah. So be noted that they are.
It's one of those. It needs work. Wibble has been saying it for days that it looks like someone smudged Vaseline across his television screen. I've not played Rebirth in any form yet, not even the demo, so I can't say. But the fact that you, Mr. 60 FPS over there, is like, oh no, I'm playing on fidelity mode. I want that 4K. Like that says how bad performance mode actually is. When you are sacrificing your 60 frames.
Yeah. It's true. I did sacrifice 60 frames. I took it off performance because I just didn't feel like it was there. Hopefully that gets back and rectified, though. Helldivers 2 sales are actually increasing again. What? What? It's a month after the game. So this is what I wanted to compare it to. 1 month later after Skull and Bones live service game, they're discounting their game by, such and such percent. And now Helldivers 2 is back at the top of the charts. US sales went up again during its third week in the market. An honest to goodness inverse decay curve so far. So, like, people are just shocked. It has benefited massively from positive word of mouth, people having fun experiences. And that's what propelled this game moving forward. And it's awesome to see.
Yeah, 100%. It's been selling incredibly here in the UK. It's topped the chart up until Rebirth was launched, and then it's still second to Rebirth. The Final Fantasy VII remake, it's second only to that. Like, it's an incredible moment, and I'm still getting asked by people if they should buy it, if they should jump in. And it's like, yes, of course you can. It's not a full price game. You're spending between 30 and 60 pounds on it, depending which version of the game you go for. You only need to spend the 30 to have an amazing time with it. And because of that, loads of friends can purchase it and jump in with you, and you can have an amazing time with a group of people. And it's the social aspect, as well as the absolute brilliant hilarity of every single session, that keeps this selling. And it's fun to play. It's very well made. And like you say, word of mouth is doing great work for Arrowhead Studios and Helldivers 2 here. It's very, very impressive.
Well, here is another theory I have. Arrowhead Studios being acquired by PlayStation. Will it happen? Will it not happen? It seems like they're pouring cold water on the PlayStation acquisition rumors, saying this is fake. Announcing that Arrowhead Game Studios, the Swedish team behind the wildly successful Helldivers 2, they have a strong relationship, but I don't think they're going to be acquired. Now, here is my theory. Why even write this? Why write this is fake unless I've missed something? I think what we
There's a
will
lot
see
more
is
to
an
it.
acquisition.
Like,
But I wouldn't think so, but now that I hear them calling out this is fake, I feel like it will happen. But here's what
it's
they said,
because
this
of
is
who it was
fake.
reported by. Yeah.
Right.
Because it was reported by a trusted leaker, someone who has been right on many things time and time again. That is a trusted source. And they've obviously got information from someone from somewhere that this is going to happen. But when the studio head then comes out and says, this is fake, and by the way, you're using like a 15-year-old image here, so it's obviously not real, you've got to listen to that. And I don't see why Arrowhead would agree to being acquired by Sony when Sony have just cut 900 people. That would be a really stupid move for Arrowhead, in my opinion. They would be better staying with the great working relationship that they have and remaining independent so that they can hire and fire as they need to protect their staff who've just created a cultural phenomenon.
Absolutely. Don't acquire it. Let them be. All right. Well, we're coming up to the last story of the day. Oh, no. Second last story. Second last story, because I forgot.
Okay.
I put a note in here. This one, PS Plus Premium Cloud streaming is much better than you think. So recently, we've heard Digital Foundry release that PlayStation is not performing as well as the Xbox Cloud gaming. And listen, I'm here to say that I really believe that the cloud experience is based on where you're located, what your connection is, how close you are to a server. I understand that Digital Foundry was doing this at an isolated location, but that won't be the same for you yourself in your home. So try the cloud services out if you can, if you're able to, if you're interested in, but knowing that they are a case by case experience. So, what did you have? Any comments on the Digital Foundry experience with experiment with Xbox versus PlayStation cloud services?
I do think that the Digital Foundry one is the only sort of objective view of any cloud service that we've ever received. If you look at any review previously, like from any of us, from people like Sunny Cloud Gaming, the Nerf Report, whether you look at Linus Tech Tips or any of these big creators who've used these cloud services, it's always their personal experience. What Digital Foundry did differently was put it through all of their measuring software, their measuring hardware, that they measured everything. And they came to an objective standpoint that PlayStation has better visuals, it has better frame rates, it is more stable in the visual department, but when it comes to actually playing the game, it has much higher latency at like 0.4 of a second versus 0.2 of a second to Xbox. So, an objective standpoint, when everything is perfect, when everything is working as well as it possibly can do, like in Digital Foundry's testings, they're 100% correct. But then you are also 100% correct in saying that everybody's experience is going to be difficult. I've experienced both the PlayStation and Xbox side. I've also experienced Stadia, GeForce Now, Nintendo Switch Cloud Gaming, Utomic. Like, I've used all of these services. And the reality is, they all suck in one way, shape, or form. None of them are good enough to be a platform. None of them are good enough to replace traditional gaming because some of them work, some of them don't. For me, Xbox looks like an old VHS tape all the time. It's tracking, it's rolling. Like, I've just got like constant screen refreshes and full game crashes. GeForce Now crashes on a semi-regular basis. Luna barely even starts and then is like a jittery, horrible mess. It's like, this is the problem with cloud gaming. Person to person, no one has the same experience. I have a friend who lives 2 streets away from me, who is on the same internet service provider, on the exact same package, from the exact same junction box, basically the same everything other than the house he lives in. I have a usable cloud gaming experience, his is impossible. And that's 2 streets away. So whilst Digital Foundry are 100% correct in what they're saying from an objective standpoint, you are also 100% correct in what you're saying in that everybody's going to experience it differently, and you kind of need to try it for yourself, which is a terrible bit of marketing for all of these people offering cloud gaming. It's like, kind of do better so that everybody gets the same experience, because otherwise you're just failing.
Hey, I agree. There is individuality to the cloud experience, and it's a case by case basis, and only sign up for the subscription if it's going to bring you value. But let's move on to a story that just came in, which I noticed, which I had missed. Maker says, waiting for more mission types and new enemies? Well, check it out. Helldivers 2 PS5 patches adds planetary hazards, rebalances weapons, and more. So I was reading through this morning. We have new things happening on the planet, which I think is exciting, brings new elements to playing the game, bring new elements to traversing. We're going to have randomly appearing fire tornadoes and meteor showers, plus more happening on the map as you're going through. That is going to be epic and awesome. Also, I'm happy I got my platinum before they added extra hard things, because it is harder to get your platinum now with these updates. For instance, they've shortened the time that your backpack with the bubble, the shield bubble, lasts. So that will phase out and take longer to recharge now. The railgun is weaker. They are balancing and rebalancing weapons to mix up the meta, because they said they don't want there to be a meta. I really, really like this. Also, if you were looking for anti-aliasing, I'm not saying this right, but it basically smoothed the sharp tones. Aliasing. It smoothed the sharp tones, right? And that wasn't working great for the PS5. Now that they've fixed that. So that was the biggest standout for me. But yeah, that energy backpack, increased delay before recharging. I feel like they're really gonna make it take a hit. Hey, I love this. I love that they're changing everything up. They're adding more things to the planet. This is going to be cool.
Oh my god, Wibble, that typo is brilliant.
I had tremors earlier, stunned players and foes. Incendiary shotgun. Oh, incendiary shotgun. Yes. Yeah, they didn't do any changes to that weapon, which is good. I actually still use that one as well. But awesome. I love that they're updating this even before 1 month. They're adding fire tornadoes and meteor showers, planetary hazards. Great to see. Great to see. Especially after all the hiccups they had to do and get over.
I mean, we had, what was it, 2 weeks ago, you were moaning about it basically being an early access game, and now we're seeing it as one of the best-selling games of the year, with new updates, with new ways to fight enemies, new hazards that you're coming across. Arrowhead they're a 50-person team. They are a 50-person studio. There's only 50 of them working on this game. And they are showing every bigger studio how it should be done. Take notes, folks. This is how you make a fun game.
Yep, cool. As well as vehicles and mechs are rumored to be coming in and are currently being dropped into the game. You can see videos of people using the vehicles. I mean, looks really cool. I can't wait to get into it and have a lot of fun there. But that will do it for today's episode. I want to thank everybody for coming on by and hanging out in the chat. Dorgon, what's going on? What do you have going on this week? Let people know what's up on your channel.
I've not really got anything planned. I am still in the scripting phase for 2 videos. I'm currently moving on to filming for 1, so there's nothing new that I expect to come out this week. But if you hit the subscribe button and turn the bell on for notifications over on Dorgon86, you'll find out when I put new stuff up anyway, and you can watch any of the old stuff in the meantime. Otherwise, it's bobbing around, appearing on Super PlayStation Brothers, and if I have time, maybe any of your other shows, because you've got another one later today, don't you?
Yes, for everyone interested in the Xbox Partner Showcase, my theory is a lot of these games will be also coming out on PlayStation as well, that being a partner showcase. So I look forward to checking out with everybody in Cyborg City, as well as we got Family Game Night tonight on the Rudix channel. You can grab that link in the description below. And yeah, I'm always hanging out every Wednesday playing Fortnite with the family, getting those victory royales and having a good time. Awesome stuff. Plus, you can catch all the other stuff on cloud and console. We got the download this Friday, so be sure to check out our wrap-up of everything that happened in gaming and tech this week, plus much more content. So just be sure to check out our socials and tune in. All right, that about does it until next week, when we'll have more Super PlayStation Bros, keeping everyone informed with everything in PlayStation. That's right. What? See you next week. Be kind. Bring peace into the world.
Take care, guys. Bye.
To believe in me. Why try? Do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily spooked. I ride just to be the me. Oh, finds hype super decently smooth. Nice type, but as sick as